Hello, this is Greg Allison from Galactic Greg's, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy on the 20th of July 2019. This is the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, as you all know, but it's also the 25th anniversary of another occasion that we should really pay attention to. Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 impacted Jupiter 25 years ago. In fact, the first impact on Jupiter occurred 16 July 1994, which was the 25th anniversary of the launch of the Apollo 11 Saturn V rocket. The largest impact on Jupiter of the 21 major impacts of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 occurred on the 20th of July of 1994. That was the day of the landing. So, and those impacts continued to the 22nd. The impacts of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 was 21 major pieces that we could tell that made major fireballs that we could see easily, although there were probably a lot of little smaller pieces that from Earth distant to Jupiter didn't make a big difference. But there were 21 major pieces, 3 times 7, basically, for those that love the numerology aspects of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 that impacted Jupiter, starting on the silver anniversary of the Apollo 11 launch date, which is now the silver anniversary of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9's impact. And with the largest impact coincidentally with the 25th anniversary of the landing on the moon. And it's now the silver anniversary, of course, of that impact, which is 50 years after landing on the moon. Highly curious that the biggest impacts we've ever observed in the history of our solar system occurred on the silver anniversary of the most momentous event in human history, the first time in our history that we reached out and touched another world with a human being and landed upon it. An event we've not replicated since 1972, almost 50 years ago. Imagine that. 47 years ago, actually, for the last lunar landing. Now, you almost think this is some kind of cosmic warning shot from the universe, from God. Said, hey guys, pay attention to impacts. The interesting thing was the largest impact, or several actually of these impacts, had fireballs. Probably all 25 actually of these impacts. Excuse me. All 21 of those impacts had fireballs as big as Earth. I'll show you some video from that in a little bit. They were actually bigger than Earth. They were stupendous. Of course, Jupiter had a lot of atmosphere to blow up, but that illustrates the kind of energy that those impactors hit Jupiter with. One comet breaking into 21 pieces that created that many major impacts on the surface of Jupiter on the silver anniversary of the launch date of the most significant space mission in the history of mankind to date. That is highly interesting. But that's not the end of coincidences. It just so happens that Shoemaker, Eugene M. Shoemaker, one of the discoveries of this comet, along with David Levy, happens to have been the astronomer geologist type who actually went and trained the Apollo astronauts for Apollo 11 and other missions about craters. He took them to crater sites and trained them how to deal with craters and things to look for. He was the man who was teaching them about impacts on the moon, planetary impacts. And he is the one who discovers this comet with David Levy, of course, that makes the biggest impacts we've ever seen in the history of humanity. And furthermore, in commemoration of his great work with the astronauts and the things that he did, his ashes, a part of his ashes, cremated of course, were sent to the moon and became an impactor on the lunar surface. So Eugene Shoemaker, Eugene M. Shoemaker, became the 13th man on the moon. He became himself a lunar impactor. Wow. So, and he's the only man on the moon today. The man who trained the astronauts about impact sites on the moon, craters, who discovered the object that made the biggest impacts we've ever witnessed in the history of humanity, impacts that occurred on the silver anniversary of the first landing on the moon. Oh, it's too many coincidences. It's just like, wow, crazy. But you could write all that off. You could dismiss it easily. Oh, coincidental, yeah. But you know what? Those impacts should be a wake-up call anytime they occur. Anytime. When you have a series of impacts like that, you need to pay attention to what that means, because it tells you that we are in a cosmic shooting gallery. What it tells you is that asteroids and comets are nature's way of saying, hey, are you guys getting along that space program yet? Y'all developing space? Because if you don't, you may have to pay the consequences. And it's also possible, quite possible, that the dinosaurs are not with us today because they did not sufficiently develop their space program. Some people think that intelligent species or velociraptors might have been around to the very last days of the dinosaurs, and all evidence of them were wiped out by the events of the great impact at Chicxulub 65 million years ago. We can always have all kinds of conjecture and fun thinking about such things. Of course, there's no evidence for such, but there's no evidence against it either, is there? Well, the matter is, had they been there, they sure as heck did not advance their space technology and systems enough to prevent that from happening. And we're not there yet either. No. If a comet like that was coming at us today, say your prayers or to whoever or whatever you choose, because your days are over. We cannot deal with that presently. We can deal with small asteroids and some things. In time, we could deal with that. But we have to develop space in order to deal with that. And I'm going to do more videos on that. But I'm about to go in and show you a little bit about Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. So to keep up with the videos that I will be showing you, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not. Bang the update notification bell and support me. Check out the links below. Most of them from my sister channel, Green Greg's, which is more developed in terms of support programs and so forth. So let me do a share here. And we're going to look at Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. Start from Wikipedia. And all of these Wikipedia sources are, they are all NASA pictures. And so, well, look at this. Here are a string of these pieces as they split apart, flying in, coming in like a strike force on the planet Jupiter. And in fact, when Shoemaker and Levy discovered it, it had already broken up. They discovered it in, I believe, March of 1994, just a few months prior to the impacts. And they believe it had broken up actually July the year before. So who knows, maybe on the other previous anniversary of the lunar landing. But of course, that's conjecture to say what date, but we do know what date the impacts took place. So let's get out of this picture and go have a look some more at the impacts that happened in 1994. Yeah, I like to rhyme. Now, look at this little video. That's a fireball right there. That's a fireball right there. Two fireballs at the same time. Jupiter has fireballs here way larger than Earth. I mean, Earth would be a speck in this picture, a pinpoint smaller than the inside of this plus there. Earth would be a small speck. That may be the red spot there. But Earth would be like a third the size of this spot right here. A third the size. You put 3 Earths in that. This is like, I don't know what, 10 Earths large? It's huge. These are 2 fireballs occurred simultaneously on Jupiter that are each far larger than Earth. I mean, guys, this is nothing to laugh about. And, well, look here, these huge holes. That's a shadow of a moon on Jupiter. Look at these huge holes, these things left in the southern hemisphere of Jupiter going around. Boom, boom, boom in the atmosphere. Huge, giant dark spots. You could fit several Earths in some of these. These are the scars in the atmosphere. I mean, the atmosphere's got clouds. It's turbulent. How in the world do you leave such a large scar in a turbulent, moving atmosphere? It takes a heck of an impact to do that. And here's some more pictures of some of the fireballs. This is on the first day of the impacts, 16 July 1994. And that's the limb curvature of the round planet Jupiter. And you can see these fireballs. And if you think about the size of Jupiter, you realize that these are huge, ginormous, larger than Earth fireball that we're looking at there. Here's another view of Jupiter with the scars in its southern hemisphere. And some of these are all huge. This is the red spot. The red spot is said it can hold up 3 Earths. So this is each one of these is Earth size, and that's probably 2 or 3 Earth sizes there of scars in the atmosphere. You know, this is highly, highly, highly significant. Now here's a series. Now, what's happened here, there's a shadow of Jupiter because the sun is this way, and this part of Jupiter is in the shadow because Jupiter is spherical and the sun is on this side of the planet. And this side is shadowed. That's what happens with the moon, too, when it faces away from the sun. So here are fireballs. That's probably, I think that's all the same fireball there as it's progressing. And let's come on down here, too. Here is another scar view of the atmosphere of Jupiter. These are far from trivial, my friends. And this shows other evidence of asteroids and bodies that break up and hit in multiple locations. They just fan out. We've seen it happen, and we see evidence of it happening elsewhere. And it just so happens when we had the impacts during the time the dinosaurs were wiped out, the thing that hit at Chicxulub, there was an impact in Kansas. There was an impact in Siberia that dated to the same time frame. And it's believed that a comet struck the Laurentine ice sheet at the end of the last ice age, which threw us actually back into a colder, drier, dustier ice age after burning everything in the northern hemisphere. But there was also, even though the Laurentine ice sheet was 2 miles thick, there was no crater left because of that, but the Carolina Bays, if you take, all of them were oval. So if you take the 2 foci in an oval from each of the Carolina Bays and draw a line through them, all the lines intersect from those on the Laurentine ice sheet. That indicates where the impactor was at. And at 2 miles high, it's over 10,000 feet. You know, water would have splashed on that impact all over North America, and the atmosphere would have burned from all the stuff coming back in. So everything would have been flooded and then drowned and then singed and burned. So you would have had enormous water splashes at high altitudes, exceeding 10,000 feet, and burn marks, scorch marks all over the northern hemisphere. And there was an impact crater found in northern Greenland that coincides with the same time frame, and I believe another one found somewhere around Siberia or somewhere else. There was yet another impact found with that. So let's look back again. Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. Wow. You would not want to see that coming at you. If you did, how do you stop it? We don't, oh, we'll send a nuke up to it. Well, you're not going to send that many missions out there. We don't have that much hardware. And if you had the nukes and blasted them, all you're going to do is turn bullets into shotgun blasts because they're flying robofiles, and all that stuff's coming at you anyway. You just, the energy is still in it. You just change this, disperse and make it a shotgun blast. So you don't get out of jail free like that. Not if you do it when it's that close to you. There are ways to do it. Maybe, and it's best to catch them as far out as you can. And it's also best to, hey, look, space is a place that we can have an economy. We can turn the threats of asteroids and comets into an economic resource or economic resources because they're rich in materials. There's an asteroid I will cover in the future that has vast amounts of gold and platinum group metals. So there's several that have lots of them. One in particular is just unbelievable in that respect with what we find looking at this asteroid. And of course, yeah, you dump all that in the world market at one time, then gold is probably has the value of asphalt. Yeah, okay, so what? It's useful as an industrial metal because it's the best conductor we know and it doesn't corrode. So that'd be great if gold was cheap as asphalt because it would certainly change our world and the way we operate a lot of stuff. But you know, it costs money to go out in space to get stuff, so I don't think it's ever going to be that cheap. I think it will be very much a worthwhile endeavor. And there's other resources of space that can serve us well from all types of materials and exotic materials that we're destroying the earthly environment, mining that we can take from the lifeless, irradiated, bashed up asteroids colliding each other world of space to improve life on Earth. And we can also perhaps take energy from space and use it in certain ways to enhance our life on Earth too. And it might just include taking platinum group metals to use in fuel converters and fuel cells and catalytic converters to make our atmosphere cleaner and to enable us to burn hydrogen and things like that and have a hydrogen-based economy. Just use water. I mean, we may take helium-3 from the moon for fusion power, a form of fusion that does not produce the byproducts of the nuclear processes that we have today. That we can take a reactor and give it to your worst enemies on Earth, and you can sleep like a baby because you know they're not going to make bomb materials from those reactors. So there's a lot of potential for space and what we could do with space and how we can live in space and develop habitats and greatly expand not only human economy and less impact on Earth, but the human population itself, if we so choose. And that may not happen because we just may choose not to reproduce. I'm going to produce a lot of videos on these topics coming up, but the key thing is space poses threats at us. I will do more videos on comets, asteroids, potential impacts from them, mining of space, development of space, and how we could even build colonies and live in space, and space habitats that look a lot, that rotate, provide artificial gravity, have trees and houses inside, something similar to that. It's called the Bernal sphere concept. Oh, hang on, let me end the share and show that, because you don't really see that too good the way I just showed that. Give me a moment here to end the share, stop share. All right, let me show that again. My apologies. I forget sometimes where I'm at. And you can see this is a habitat concept. There are much larger habitat concepts than this, and many that are far more beautiful than that concept. But the idea is we could green space and grow things in space and grow things naturally. Like my buddy on my sister channel, Green Greg's. Green Greg's and I will have to collaborate on some of these videos in the future. So there's a lot of potential, but we do need to develop space. We have languished ever since we've launched the last Apollo mission in 1972 doing anything in deep space. All we've done is just going around and around in the low Earth orbit like we did before we launched out to the moon. Now it is time to return and grapple with the resources and threats that deep space could throw at us, to preserve humanity, to preserve life on Earth, to lessen our impact on the environment, and expand our economy at the same time. That can be done. There are many concepts for how to do it. A lot of the concepts that even Jeff Bezos talks about. If you can see in his video where he unveiled his lunar lander, he went into that, and he did a good job of it, I might add. So I will be doing a lot more on this very soon. Again, be sure to subscribe to my channel, bang the update notification bell, check my links below to support my channel. And by the way, we do have a program coming up the 23rd of July. It's Straight to E.L.E, where we're going to have an event to commemorate the landing on the moon for the Huntsville Alabama E.L.E. Society, local chapter of the National Space Society, which I am the president of and was founding president of back in 1983. One of the co-founders was no less than Conrad Dannenberg. He had been program manager on the Saturn V rocket, and he had been quite involved in development of these systems. Well, we've lost the entire old German rocket team now. They're all gone. I was fortunate to get to know a lot of those guys, and some few of them well. And but we still have a lot of Apollo era engineers around, and we will have 3 or 4 of them at our panel. And, we had 4 that confirmed. 1 may be dropping out, but we're going to have 2 young guys who are today working to get us on them. So this is going to be an event that looks to the past and commemorates that, but looks to the future. So the event is called The Past Informs the Future. Lessons learned. How can we apply what we learned then to the young guys who are trying to get us back now, developing 2 separate lunar landers. So the individuals aren't even working on the same project. The young guys, the younger entrepreneurial sorts that are going to be on our panel. So it's going to be a straight deal. It's a fun place. 23rd of July. Links below to that, and just go to hal5.org if you want to find more on that. Anyway, I welcome you to watch more stuff on my channel. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching.